Hello and welcome to Quiz Class. My name's Ellis and I'll be your host for today's general knowledge quiz. There are 100 questions in this quiz. Do the best you can. If you don't know any answers, just have a guess. It might be right. Let us know how you rank in the comments at the end of the video based on these Quiz Class awards. Depending on your score between 0 and 100, you could be a quiz explorer all the way through to a quiz champion. Today's lineup then of questions, we've got questions on sports, music and entertainment, the past, science and geography, language and literature, and current affairs. So a real good mix there of topics. We're going to start with sports, music, and entertainment. Question 1. Good luck. Which actress starred in The Blue Lagoon? Brooke Shields, Meryl Streep, or Demi Moore? The answer is Brooke Shields. 2. Which football team has won the most English Premier League titles? Manchester United, Manchester City, or Liverpool? The answer is Manchester United. 3. Which Instagram account has the most followers? Messi, that's Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, or Selena Gomez? It is the Portuguese striker Cristiano Ronaldo. 4. Who sang the famous Titanic song? Celine Dion, Mariah Carey, or John Lennon? The song My Heart Will Go On is by Celine Dion. Question 5. Which team is the current English Premier League champion? Manchester City, Arsenal, or Liverpool? And the winner is Manchester City. That's your correct answer. 6. Which music festival is held in Somerset? Glastonbury Festival, Coachella, or Sunburn? The answer is Glastonbury Festival. Question 7. The most watched sport is American football, soccer, or cricket? Which is the most watched sport? The correct answer is soccer or football. Question 8. Stayin' Alive is by which musical group? Bee Gees, Guns N' Roses, or the Beatles? The answer is Bee Gees. 9. Who was not a member of the Beatles? Paul McCartney, James Hetfield, or John Lennon? The answer is James Hetfield. 10. The Four Seasons was composed by Pyotr Tchaikovsky, Antonio Vivaldi, or Wolfgang A. Mozart? The answer, The Four Seasons, was composed by Antonio Vivaldi. 11. The famous Ode to Joy was composed by Franz Liszt, Giuseppe Verdi, or Ludwig van Beethoven? The answer is Ludwig van Beethoven. Question 12. Monica Geller is a character from which popular American sitcom? Friends, How I Met Your Mother, or The Office? Played by Courtney Cox, the answer is Friends. 13. The song Smells Like Teen Spirit was released in 1991 by Nirvana, Green Day, or Arctic Monkeys? Who released the song Smells Like Teen Spirit? The answer is Nirvana. Question 14. Wolfgang A. Mozart was from Austria, Hungary, or Germany? Mozart was born in Salzburg, Austria. The answer is Austria. 15. Which boy band were JC, Chase and Justin Timberlake members of? Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, or One Direction? The answer is NSYNC. 16. Which American boxer fought George Foreman in the Rumble in the Jungle in 1974? Leon Spinks, Mike Tyson, or Muhammad Ali? The answer is Muhammad Ali. Question 17. Leonardo DiCaprio has won the Oscar how many times? Thrice, once, or twice? The answer is once for The Revenant. Question 18. The Tonight Show starring blank ran from 1962 to 1992. Is the answer Johnny Carson, Jimmy Kimmel, or Conan O'Brien? The answer is Johnny Carson. Now we're going to move on to some questions about the past. 19. The storming of the Bastille marked the beginning of the Haitian Revolution, the French Revolution, or the Russian Revolution? The storming of the Bastille marked the beginning of the French Revolution. 20. When did World War I begin? 1914, 15, or 13? Was it 1914, 1915, or 1913? World War I began in 1914. 21. Which country was Margaret Thatcher a Prime Minister of? The United Kingdom, Germany, or Australia? The answer is the United Kingdom. 22. Which country launched the first satellite into space? The Soviet Union, Japan, or USA? The Soviet Union were the first to launch a satellite into space. Who delivered the famous speech, "I Have a Dream," in 1963? Was that Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, or Martin Luther? The answer is Martin Luther King Jr. 24. The first televised presidential debate was between Dwight D. Eisenhower and Richard Nixon and Lyndon B. Johnson, or John F. Kennedy and Richard Nixon. So Richard Nixon was definitely there, but who was he up against? The answer is John F. Kennedy and Richard Nixon. 25. Which territory became the 50th US state in 1959? Alaska, New Mexico, or Hawaii? The answer is Hawaii. 26. Which toy introduced in 1959 continues to be a cultural icon? Which toy introduced in 1959 continues to be a cultural icon? Is the answer Roy Rogers and Bullet action figure, Moko Lesney Matchbox cars, or Barbie? The answer is Barbie. 27. Pu Yi was the last emperor of which Chinese dynasty? The Qing dynasty, the Ming dynasty, or the Tang dynasty? The answer is the Qing dynasty. 28. Socrates was accused of impiety and corrupting the young. He died after drinking what? Poison hemlock, poison ivy, or cyanide? Socrates was accused of impiety and of corrupting the young. He died after drinking poison hemlock. That's the answer we're looking for. 29. Who was Aristotle's famous teacher? Socrates, Alexander the Great, or Plato? The answer is Plato. Moving now on to question 30. Which Dalai Lama was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1989? 13th, 14th, or 5th? The answer is the 14th Dalai Lama. Question 31. Which war ceded Hong Kong to Britain in 1843? The Second Opium War, Sino-Japanese War, or the First Opium War? Hope you're keeping up so far with this quiz. We're on question 31 currently. And the answer to 31 is the First Opium War. On to question 32. Which period did Akbar the Great Indian rule? Delhi Sultanate, Mughal, or Chola? And the answer is Mughal. 33. The first Prime Minister of Great Britain was William Putney, Sir Robert Walpole, or Lord Bolingbroke? The first Prime Minister of Great Britain was The answer is Sir Robert Walpole. 34. When did the American Revolutionary War officially end? 1783, 1784, or 1785? What's your American history like? Can you get that specific date? The answer is 1783. Which British Prime Minister served the longest during World War II? Winston Churchill, Margaret Thatcher, or Stanley Baldwin? So, as it started with Neville Chamberlain at the start of World War II, it then got passed to Winston Churchill. That's your answer. 36. Which cuisine are the California sushi rolls inspired by? Hawaiian, Korean, or Japanese? The California sushi rolls. They are inspired by Japanese cuisine. Who was the shortest serving Prime Minister? And that's British Prime Minister. Was it Liz Truss, Boris Johnson, or Rishi Sunak? The answer is Liz Truss. 38. Americans celebrate their independence from Britain on July 5th, July 8th, or July 4th? The answer is July 4th. 39. Which is the oldest written national constitution? The US Constitution, the Indian Constitution, or the French Constitution? The answer is the US Constitution. 40. Who was the longest serving American president? Franklin D. Roosevelt, William H. Harrison, or Barack Obama? The answer is Franklin D. Roosevelt, who was president for 4,422 days. 41. Who was the shortest serving American president? Harry Truman, William H. Harrison, or Gerald Ford? The answer is William H. Harrison, who only served for 31 days. On which empire did the sun never set? The Russian Empire, the Roman Empire, or the British Empire? The answer is the British Empire. Question 43. Which is considered the largest contiguous land empire in history? The British Empire, the French Empire, or the Mongol Empire? The answer is the Mongol Empire. 44. What was the United Nations previously called? The League of Nations, World Union, or World United? The answer is the League of Nations. 45. When and where was the Treaty of Versailles signed? The Palace of Versailles in 1930, Paris in 1919, or the Palace of Versailles in 1919? The answer is the Palace of Versailles in 1919. 46. What was Adolf Hitler's first nationality? Hungarian, German, or Austrian? The answer is Austrian. 47. From which country is Mahatma Gandhi? India, Pakistan, or South Africa? The correct answer is India. Question 48. What is considered India's first war against its British colonisers? The Carnatic Wars, the Revolt of 1857, or the Child's War? The answer is the Revolt of 1857. 49. Who was the first to successfully climb Mount Everest? Avatar Singh Shima, Avatar Singh Chima, or Sir Edmund P. Hillary? Who was the first to successfully climb Mount Everest? The answer is Sir Edmund P. Hillary. 50. What is the famous quote attributed to Marie Antoinette? Let them eat cake, I'm terrified of being bored, or send them some cake? Don't know about anyone else, but I now just really want some cake. Is that relevant for the answer to the question though? Yes, let them eat cake was the famous quote attributed to Marie Antoinette. We're halfway through this quiz. Here's question 51. Who was the longest serving British monarch? Queen Victoria, Queen Elizabeth II, or King George III? The longest serving British monarch was Queen Elizabeth II. 52. When did India win its independence from Britain? August 15th, 1948, August 15th, 1947, or August 14th, 1947? The correct answer is August 15th, 1947. 53. Who shot Alexander Hamilton? Was it George Washington, James Madison, or Aaron Burr? The answer is Aaron Burr. What happened at the Boston Tea Party? The protesters threw chests of tea into the Boston Harbour. British and American officials drank tea at the Boston Harbour, or the people of Boston gathered for afternoon tea? The answer, the protesters threw chests of tea into the Boston Harbour. 55. When did the Tibetan Dalai Lama flee to India? In 1959, in 1950, or in 1990? The answer is 1959. Who did Prince Charles marry in 1981? Princess Mary Astrid, Lady Diana, or Camilla? Who did Prince Charles marry in 1981? The answer is Lady Diana. 57. Who was the first man to land on the moon? Gene Cernan, Harrison Schmitt, or Neil Armstrong? The first man to historically land on the moon was Neil Armstrong. 58. What is otherwise known as the Second Indochina War? The Vietnam War, the August Revolution, or Battle of Dien Bien Phu? The Second Indochina War is otherwise known as the Vietnam War. Question 59. In which year did the last American armed forces return to the USA? 1975, 76, or 70? The answer is 1975. Question 60. Who was the first American president to meet Chinese chairman Mao Zedong? Was it President Gerald Ford, President Harry Truman, or President Richard Nixon? The answer is President Richard Nixon. We're moving on now, moving the past behind, to move on to some questions of science and geography. Who was the scientific director of the Manhattan Project during World War II? J. Robert Oppenheimer, Alexander Fleming, or Albert Einstein? The answer is J. Robert Oppenheimer. The Oscar-winning film about that man was released last year too. 62. The pale blue dot was said by Carl Sagan to refer to the Pacific Ocean, Earth, or a button? The pale blue dot. The answer is Earth. 63. The least populated country in the world is Vatican City, Nauru, or Monaco? The least populated country in the world is the Vatican City. 64. The smallest country in the world is Nauru, Vatican City, or Monaco? So we know which was the least populated. What is the smallest country in the world? The answer is the Vatican City. Question 65. What is the world's largest economy? USA, India, or Japan? The world's largest economy is the USA. Which country has the highest population? Russia, China, or India? The answer is India, with more than 1.43 billion people. Which company is not headquartered in the Silicon Valley? Facebook, TikTok, or Hewlett-Packard? The answer is TikTok. Question 68. Which is the largest country in the world? USA, Russia, or Canada? The answer is Russia. 69. The most fresh water is locked up in rivers, lakes, or ice and glaciers. So where will you locate the most fresh water? Is most of it locked up in rivers, in lakes, or in ice and glaciers? The answer is ice and glaciers. Question 70. The solar system is in which galaxy? Andromeda, Cigar Galaxy, or Milky Way? The solar system is in the Milky Way galaxy. Which is the largest continent? North America, Asia, or Africa? Which is the largest continent? Well, at 44.58 million kilometres squared, the answer is Asia. Where can we find hydrothermal vents? At beaches, on the seabed, or at the coast? Where can we find hydrothermal vents? The answer is on the seabed. 73. In which continent are there no grasslands? Antarctica, Iceland, or the Arctic? In which continent are there no grasslands? Well, of those three options there, only one of them are actually a continent. The answer is Antarctica. The most arid region in the world. Is it the Atacama, Ica, Peru, or the Sahara Desert? The answer is the Atacama. 75. Which is the largest coral reef system? The Great Barrier Reef, Belize Barrier Reef, or Florida Reef? Which is the largest coral reef system? The answer is the Great Barrier Reef. Which is the deepest point of the ocean? Is it the Challenger Deep, Milwaukee Deep, or Tonga Trench? The deepest point of the ocean. The answer is the Challenger Deep. Where was the first maglev technology introduced? Berlin, Birmingham, or Tokyo? Is it Berlin, Birmingham, or Tokyo? The answer is Birmingham. 78. Which company launched the Macintosh in 1984? Apple Computer, Panasonic, or Texas Instruments? Now often referred to as the Mac, Apple Computer. 79. Which mission accomplished the first crew landing on the moon? Apollo 11, Apollo 10, or Apollo 13? Which mission accomplished the first crew landing on the moon? The answer is Apollo 11. 80 is going to be the first question in our language and literature section in this quiz. English novelist George Orwell was born in India, England, or Indonesia? George Orwell was an English novelist. Where was he born? George Orwell was born in India. Question 81. The novel 1984 was published in 1948, 1949, or 1984? Written by the subject of our previous question, the answer is 1949. 82. Dorian Gray is a character created by which Irish author? Oscar Wilde, James Joyce, or Oliver Goldsmith? The answer is Oscar Wilde. 83. Which British author created the protagonist Harry Potter? J.K. Rowling, Charles Dickens, or Charlotte Bronte? She then went on to write 7 books and 1 play about him. The answer is J.K. Rowling. 84. Who was the orphaned protagonist in David Copperfield? David Copperfield, Uriah Heep, or Peggotty? The answer is David Copperfield. 85. Which is considered the earliest sci-fi novel? 1984, Frankenstein, or Fahrenheit 451? The answer is Frankenstein. 86. George Eliot was which English novelist's pen name? Emily Bronte, Mary Ann Evans, or Jane Austen? The answer is Mary Ann Evans. The novel David Copperfield is by Mark Twain, Robert Burns, or Charles Dickens? The novel David Copperfield is by who? The answer is Charles Dickens. 88. Which famous playwright wrote Othello and the Merchant of Venice? William Shakespeare, Eugene O'Neill, or Oscar Wilde? He also wrote Macbeth and Hamlet and Midsummer Night's Dream and Romeo and Juliet. The answer is William Shakespeare. Which is the correct American English spelling for maneuver? Maneuver, spelled M-A-N-O-U-V-R-E, M-A-N-E-U-V-E-R, or M-A-N-O-E-U-V-R-E. Which of those is correct? Well, the answer is maneuver in the second spelling, M-A-N-E-U-V-E-R. 90. Which is the correct British English spelling for neighbour? N-E-I-G-H-B-O-R, N-E-G-H-B-O-U-R, or N-E-I-G-H-B-O-U-R? Which of those 3 is correct? The answer is neighbour, spelt with a B-O-U-R at the end and an N-E-I-G-H at the beginning. 91. What do the Americans commonly call the British aubergine? An aubergine also, an eggplant, or a brinjal? The answer is an eggplant. 92. What do the Americans commonly call the British crisps? Chips, fries, or wafers? What do the Americans commonly call the British crisps? The answer is chips. 93. What do the British commonly call the American French fries? Wafers, chips, or crisps? The answer is chips. 94 is going to be the first question of the last group, which is all about current affairs. Who is the first woman Vice President of the United States? Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton, or Tony Nathan? Hope you're keeping up with the current news for this last little section of our quiz. The answer is Kamala Harris. Who is the current Indian Prime Minister? Is it Narendra Modi, Shashi Tharoor, or Rahul Gandhi? Apologies if I've mispronounced any of the names there. Do you know the answer? The current Indian Prime Minister. The answer we're looking for is Narendra Modi. 96. Who is the current Pope? Is it Pope Francis, Pope Benedict XV, or Pope Benedict XVI? The current Pope is Pope Francis. Question 97. The 18th G20 summit was held in Australia, India, or Saudi Arabia? The answer is India. 98. X is the rebranded platform previously known as MySpace, Twitter, or Instagram. X is the rebranded platform previously known as Twitter. Question 99. Which spacecraft recently landed on the moon? Was it Falcon 9, Chandrayaan 3 by India, or Artemis? The answer is Chandrayaan 3 by India. And question 100, which political party does President Joe Biden represent? Democratic Party, Republican Party, or Libertarian Party? The answer is the Democratic Party. And here's a bonus question for you. What is the capital city of Mexico? And that's it, that's the end of our quiz. Let us know the answer to the bonus question in the comments, and while you're there, you can let us know what Quiz Class Einstein reward you've got. Are you a quiz champion, a quiz master, a quiz enthusiast, a quiz apprentice, or a quiz explorer? Now go to your score from 0 to 100 to work out where you ranked. Thanks for playing this quiz. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified on all of our upcoming videos here at Quiz Class. My name's Ellis and I've been your host. We hope you've enjoyed the quiz, and we hope to see you again soon. Thanks for playing.